What is going on, people? Thank you so much for tuning into the channel. My name is Isaac Dana, and lately I have been using AI to make software, and it is saving me so much time. It's taking a lot of time to do. Everybody's like, hey, you can build, $1 billion software in 3 hours and stuff. No, it's bullshit. The real way to get this done is trial and error. And when you find a good model like Claude, right, that can write all the code for you and do everything, you still have to check it and it'll forget what's going on and stuff. So I'm still optimizing my workflow here. If you have some things, I haven't connected full MCPs yet. If you don't know what that is, great, stay tuned for the channel. If you know what that is and you have some cool MCPs, comment below, let me know what you're using. I'm going to be connecting a Docker MCP that has a list of a ton of them. So I'll be able to automate a lot of this. And what's even cooler is the software that I'm showing you right now on the screen is one that I have created by myself. It's still all over the place, and I was a little worried about making the video because, like, I don't know. But I just want some sort of transparency here. And I think there's a lot of crap online from people just being like, yo, you can make whatever you want instantly. And it's just not the case, right? If you want to go make a landing page with like forms and stuff and you can opt in, and I mean, that's really cool. If you don't have templates in place, this is going to take you ages to make, okay? So what I'm trying to do right now is organizing the templates. If you guys want templates, comment below. I'll probably give them for free. I got to figure out how to upload them to GitHub and have like a template that I can just kind of give to you. But this is sick, okay? The future is here. You can pretty much just get rid of any software that you just don't want to pay for anymore, right? If you like one thing about a particular software, you can just go make that one thing on your own, okay? Sometimes it's cheaper to just use the software because you'll spend a lot of time and effort and energy trying to figure it out. But if you have like a few things that you just like about a software, but you hate everything else and it's 95% bloat, like that's what you want to make your software for, okay? So if this interests you, this video is just going to be kind of raw, uncut. The only time I might cut is if I end up accidentally showing some API keys or something like that, and I'll have to like blur out my screen and stuff. So one of the cool things as well is, or I'll just cut, okay? One of the cool things as well is a lot of this has been built by me talking to my computer and not necessarily typing it out, okay? So, welcome to the channel. Thank you so much for being here. This software is called GeoSauce. You can tell that it is new because the logo's not even up here in this corner over here. So you can tell that's new. And then just to give you an idea of why I would want to make this. So originally, and I should have just had this up, but I'm going to show you, let me see if I can go way back in time. So this is one of my customers here. So Noack Plumbing. We're just going to do this, and that's not good that he's not popping up there. Hold on one second. Where am I located? 1 second. Oh, here we go. That's why, because I'm out in Washington. 1 second. Okay. We're going to rerun that. Okay, here we go. So you see these posts down here? These are updates for Google, okay? Now, if I just keep clicking on these posts, now, I've been doing this for him for a few months now, for many months now, okay? And you can see here, it just creates a post and it creates more posts, okay? So I've tried several different things. So this is what I used to do. I used to make these, I literally used to hand make these in Photoshop or use Canva or something like that. And I'd put his logo on here, which I will be adding to my software, but right now it's just not, it's not there yet. But you can see right here, I used AI to write this. I created a GPT inside ChatGPT, right? Let me see if I can pull that up in another window here. This video was unplanned, but I have to, give me 1 second, I'm going to pull that up. I have to do this or I'm just never going to make these videos. So please bear with me while I pull these up. I think we're leaning into a more live, sort of YouTube channel style anyway, because with AI right now, you have to have some sort of authenticity. So, okay, let me pull up, here we go. I will bring this over here. Okay. So now what I did is I created this, let me move this, sorry. Okay. So what I did was I created this thing. So, hey, I need 18 posts for Google Business Profile, right? So what I did is I created something like this where I said, I'm going to say 3 posts. okay, for a new customer. Okay, boom. And it's going to say, great. And I think this uses 4.0. Oh, it does. Oh, sick. You can change the model now. I did not know that. So, okay, that's really cool. Didn't know that. That was not a thing when I made this GPT. So these are the questions that I have it ask, right? So business name, business URL, whatever. So what I used to do is I used to copy this, right? I'd have all this information prior to doing this, obviously. So I'd be like business name, and I'd say it is my best busy. Okay, my best busy. And then the website would be https mybestbusy.com. Okay. The town and state would be, let's just say, because I'm born in Worcester, Mass, we're going to say Worcester, Massachusetts, right? And then we're going to say the niche specific keywords. So I did some keyword research beforehand, and I would have a list of these keywords, right? So let's just, for fun, let's just say this business is a plumbing business, okay? So niche specific, so we're going to say water heaters, water heater repair, right? We're going to say plumber near me. We're going to say plumber, and we're going to say plumber Worcester, Mass. Okay. And then obviously you should organize this before you use it, right? But this, you see how long this is taking, right? This is taking a while to make. So niche specific services. So we're just going to say plumbing, and then we're going to say 24-hour emergency plumbing services. Okay. And we're going to say water heater repair and water heater replacement. Okay. And drain cleaning. Okay. And then niche specific call to action. So the call to action would be like, get your free quote today. Boom. Okay. And then it says, once I have this, I'll generate the 3 unique posts. So I would hit enter, right? Now that didn't take too long, and I would organize this ahead of time. And then you can see right here, it says, okay, you've got the headline for the graphic. It says water heater repair done right. You've got the sub headline, and then restore hot water heaters fast with expert plumbing, services in Worcester, Mass. And then the paragraph, and then the website. It says, get your free quote today. Visit this, right? Now, right off the bat, okay? Right off the bat, before I scroll down, that's pretty dope that it just came up with a post for social media, but now I have to go over and copy and paste it, right? Which was a pain in the ass. So then I was like, you know what? Let me see if I can also get it to come up with an image prompt that I can throw into Midjourney or whatever I wanted to use for Midjourney. So then I started doing that, and it says a Worcester, Mass home interior showing a frustrated homeowner next to the water heater, blah, 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 right? So then I would go over here. Actually, so I would manually copy all of that, plug it in here. So that would be the, you can see here, if I click more, you've got the headline, the sub headline, and then this is the paragraph with the call to action. Okay. And then the link is an actual link that leads to the website. Okay. And I would just schedule these out, and that's what I was doing. And I'm charging monthly for this, and this is helping with SEO. It's increasing the rankings and stuff for my customers, and they're very happy, especially this guy. And it's great to be offering a service that makes them happy, but I can't scale and offer this to more people in other states if it's taking me ages, even with AI, to make all this stuff work. So what I started doing was coming up with a better way to do it. So I was like, oh, we'll have this write this, blah, blah, blah. So then I took it from Photoshop, and I was like, you know what? I wonder if there's something out here where I can generate, here we go. Let me see if I can generate posts, right? Actually, I found another thing. Whoa, hold on 1 second. I don't know why it's doing that. Give me 1 second. Oh, they've added it. Okay. So we're going to say private. So you can see my private collection here. You can see I was doing this for a few different things. I was making like Call of Duty thumbnails and stuff and whatever. Okay. Now, and you can see I've done this for a few different customers, and I would run it through the system, and I'd sit here and run it through. And it's actually cheaper to do it through Ideogram, just plugging your prompt in here. But time-wise, it still takes a lot of time. It's cheaper to do this, but time-wise, it takes a lot of time. So I actually save money by creating my own software so I can couple clicks and it's done, right? So you can see here, my toilet's constantly running, blah, 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 right? And I was coming up with some really cool designs, coming up with some logos as well. Ideogram's awesome if you haven't used it. Oh, so see, I'm trying to come up with a GeoSauce logo. Let me know. Here's a couple of them. Screenshot, highlight it. Let me know what you like. I know you can't do that on Facebook, but I mean on YouTube. But so anyways, so then I started doing that, and that was like speeding up my process significantly. I'm talking like a ridiculous amount of time saved. Okay. I think I went from like 3 hours down to about an hour per customer. Okay. Which was so sick. And then I was like, you know what? AI started coming out. Then I had ChatGPT start building me something that would like start to do this, but it didn't work. So I was like, you know what? Let me see if I can actually build something that will do this. So I took the prompt. So I have a prompt in the back of this GPT here. Let me see. Hold on one second. Let me just make sure it doesn't open anything crazy. Let me see if I can edit this GPT. Yeah. Okay. So I'll even give you the prompt and stuff. It's going to be in my community. So you can click the link below. So in here, you've got the prompt. So these are the instructions. Okay. Now it's a pretty significant prompt. Like this is pretty in depth. You can see, hey, I need your help creating a Google business profile, for my business or a client, blah, blah, blah. Formatting, only bold labels. And, I tell it everything in here. Okay. The post is between first and the second. Be sure to include the slashes, blah, 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 blah. Like it's all written. Here's an example post. Here's the image prompt. Put the image prompt there, blah, blah, blah. Right. And then I give it a couple different things to do there. Cool. And I was testing it and I was happy with it and it's great. I'm also going to make sure this is 4.1 now instead. So I'm going to update that and make sure it's not 4.0 because 4.0 is just not as good. So let's go back. And maybe, just maybe, it'll refresh and it'll be, if I were to do it again, let's see if that works. I'm all over the place, I know, but we'll create a new chat. Now it's 4.1. Amazing. Oh, that's like a brand new update, dude. Okay, so let me just move that back to this window here. Okay, cool. So then I started thinking like, wait a second, how do I build an application where, so I started talking to ChatGPT over and over and over and over again. And when I'm telling you, I talked to this thing through voice note. I was typing to it. I was doing everything I possibly could over the course of weeks, trying to figure out the plan, what's bothering me. I came up with a list, what's bothering me, what I don't like, what are some frustrations that I have, blah, 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 blah. So in the end here, right, we've come up with something where you can create the client, right? You create the clients, you have the posts here. So I can show you here. This is still a demo version, but this user interface is not going to look like this. Eventually, if you sign up using my link below to HighLevel, okay, then you will get access to this. If you're a paying customer, you'll get access to this. You can put your stuff on file. You'll be able to log in and stuff. I haven't worked that out, but this is like next level. Okay. I've integrated it with HighLevel so you can help your customers. And it's like, eventually this will be able to write a bunch of pages for websites as well. And it's going to help with the SEO. It's like, it's GeoSauce. Okay. Like everything you could possibly need for a local SEO for business, it's going to be right in the software. Okay. The good stuff, not the stuff we think we need, the stuff that's working with none of the bloat. Okay. So anyways, you go in here and you have this, you can click on this person, the customer here. You can scroll down, you see they have their GHL API key in there. They've got the location ID, the private token, user ID, blah, 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 right? Then you've got colors. You can add the colors. You can put the target keywords, the services. You have to do research first, but then you do the research and you store it in here. I used to store this stuff in Notion, and now I just store it in here because it's like, well, let's just use this, right? And then you can edit the profile as well, and you can add colors and stuff. I'm not going to pull that up because it actually shows the real keys there. And then what you do is you can view campaigns, and this UI is busted. It's ugly. Okay. This is super ugly. So I can't give you access just yet. I'm embarrassed to even show you this. Okay. But anyway, so you exit out of that. And then what you would do is you would create a new campaign. This one's a test campaign, right? So I can show you in here. Up here, we say there's 4 posts that have been created. There's only 2 that are finalized, right? And you can see right here, there's 4 posts. So all of these little tweaks, like all these little things, okay? Ideogram needs a seed. No, it doesn't necessarily need a seed, but like, let's just say that I like the way this looks, right? I like the way this looks. You can see over here in the bottom right-hand corner, you've got a seed number here. So it's like, okay, I'll just take that whole seed number, throw that into GeoSauce, and now it shows me what the seed number is, and you can configure it this way. So what you do is you pick the model provider, right? So I use Requesty, and let's just say I want to use Claude Sonnet for Opus because it's just really, really good, but it's expensive, right? So I don't know if I can type free. No, I haven't been able to do free yet. Let me see if the $ works. No. Okay. So eventually I want to be able to filter this. I'm still working on this, but if you know which one, like this one's cheap, right? So the $ here, I've made it so at a quick glance, you can just kind of pick the cheap ones. All these ones are cheap, right? But the output might be crap. So I know that Nano, the ChatGPT Nano 4.1, that one's pretty cheap. Look, it's like super cheap. Okay. So we're using Requesty, and then you can also use like OpenAI or Anthropic or whatever. If you have your own keys, you just this is a bring your own key software. Okay. So you're going to end up paying for the software to use it just because it took me a ton of time to build and I just want some money back. Right. And you won't have to build it, and it's going to help your customers. You're going to make money from it. So it's only fair. And then literally only people that use my high level affiliate link are going to get access to this. And I'm tracking it. It's not like, this is in-house. You're not going to get this. You can go try to build this yourself, and that's really cool, and good luck. But anyways, so you've got the ideogram model here, and I have to update it to V3, but right now it's V2. So you've got the aspect ratio. You can choose the aspect ratio. You can also type in your own resolution there, and then you can put the seed here as well. So like, say you like this seed number here, you can put that seed, and it's going to create something similar. And then we've also got templates. So I'm like, oh, okay, I have already done this for a customer before. I'm going to load that template. And yesterday we just added this little button here too. So it's, when I say we, it's just me and Claude, like just in the basement for hours and hours and hours doing this. Okay. And you can see right here, it's using OpenAI 4.1 Nano. Cool. And then it pulled in the V2. It's chosen the design instead of the realistic. And then it's got the aspect ratio of the actual image, like this aspect ratio here, because on mobile, it doesn't have this black stuff. And you can see right here, it fits within the parameters of that. And I think that's 16:9, but Google has like 3 or 4 different dimensions here. And I just went with the one that looks the best on mobile because that's where most people are going to be searching from for maps. So, but you could adjust it whatever you want. You could have square output. You could literally just say square output and it's going to do the same thing. And then you can have a negative prompt here. And then this is so sick. Before you spend money with Ideogram, okay, on their API costs, because it probably costs you 3 cents an image or something, right? You can actually adjust this so you can see, oh, these images are going to be more gray. These images are going to be more blue. Maybe I want blue and white. Maybe I want all white. Maybe I want more brown, right? Whatever the colors are, the brand colors are getting pulled in from the client's settings there. Okay. But man, when I'm telling you, this thing is so sick. And like, I don't want to guess, right? So you can reset it if you want. You can see that whoops, you can see that this is a bit off here. When I shrink the thing, you can see that it sticks out. So there's some like responsiveness issues that I've got to tweak. But other than that, I'm very happy with this. So that just reset it. There's a button there that reset it. If I like the way the colors are, I can save the palette and then just upload the palette as is. So just for an extreme example, okay, Ideogram needs 5% minimum for a color, and maximum would be whatever is left over based off of all the other colors at 5%, right? So you can see right here, we got 20%, maximum would be 80%. So mainly the next image is going to be brown. And I'm just going to increase this slightly so it's more like brown and white, right? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, okay, we can generate posts. And you see this little thing here too. This is sick. So you can see like this I'm just going to generate 2 posts. Okay. Now, actually, yeah, I'm going to generate 1 test post for you. The main office, this is actually going to be on a different page, but the reason I have it here is because it's pulling in the coordinates of the main office, and it's going to geotag these images as if the image was posted from the main office. Okay. And then I can randomize it. And when it's randomized, I'll be able to check this off. I haven't tweaked this because this is going on a different page. So that says main office, but when it's randomized and enabled, I'll be able to adjust this for a mile radius, and it'll ping different areas, almost as if the post was scheduled from different places. That's mainly going to be for images, because it's going to be kind of coming from different job sites, quote unquote, right? So that's going to be a different section of this app at a certain point. But for now, we're just going to leave the settings as they are right there. As you can see, one of the things here, like even if I click, those colors, right? Save as client default or profile, like you can see that the text isn't in here. So I have to fix that. There's a lot of like little bugs that just tick me off, that keep me up so late at night just trying to fix, So I'm actually going to do this 42% and 39% for that. And now I'm just going to generate a post. And here's what happens. So this took ages as well. What was happening was like this popped up on the screen for a second, and then it just disappeared. And then there was no posts that were created at all. And then I was like, what the hell is going on? And then, but over in my terminal, over in like the code section, right? And we'll show you that in a section. Over in that terminal, I could see activity happening, and Idegram was being called and the image was being created and stuff, but it wasn't actually showing me anything. And you see, just like that, boom, we have a new image. And check this out. So I can click this, hail damage roof repair in Houston. You can see this guy, hail damage roof repair in Houston. That's kind of like a pixelated version. That's funky. Hail damage roof repair in Houston, hail damage roof repair in Houston. So now I don't really like that. Okay. I'm not a huge fan of any of those images. So now I could literally just hit this button here, regenerate. Hopefully this works. And then we created this as well. This took a while to come up with, but the more I learn, the easier it's getting. But this is called a skeleton. And, this is actually going to happen on the initial post generation. But again, it's like these small little tweaks that make it feel like something's happening. So eventually you'll be able to generate maybe 12 or 18 unlimited posts over there probably, but you'll be able to generate it. And as they are generated, they'll actually show up in the display here, which is really cool. So I can already tell that this one kind of looks pretty dope. It's a photo though. And I think I pressed design. So that was kind of weird, but metal roof expert. So there we go. Looks like he's putting a metal roof on, right? It's not perfect because it's AI. That's actually a really good one. Metal roof experts in Houston, right? It shouldn't be that, but, and you can see the prompt that came through: a skilled roofer carefully repairing a metal roof. Cool. So let's just say I like this one here, right? Cool. Metal roof repairs in Houston. Actually, let's do this one. Is there a better one? This one's fine. We'll do this one. So I'm going to select this image, and the selection, you can see this green outline here and a check mark here. That means it's selected. And you can see down here, we have a couple more posts and it's selected. And then what will happen is once they're selected, we can go to the geocode page, and this page is all out of whack right now. Don't even look at the UI for this. This is horrible, but the functionality is working. So we go to the geo page, and there's a couple of them that are selected. And what we do is we say, okay, we're going to save the settings. Yes, randomize those coordinates. We're going to save the settings, and we're going to write the coordinates, and then we're going to confirm the coordinates. And over in my software over here, over in the terminal, I can see that it just wrote the coordinates into the actual post itself. So now if I download, I believe it's with metadata. Let me just double check. One second. Yeah. So you can see right here, let me just exit out of this. So this is the post, right? And this has now been tagged with the latitude and the longitude of the actual office, right? And now this, when it gets published to Google, it's going to have the latitude and the longitude of the actual office, which makes it feel like they're publishing it from the office, which is crucial, okay? And you can see it's right here. So this is ugly. This is going to look a lot prettier, but I just needed the functionality because I have customers that are waiting for this. And so there we go. So that's cool. Boom. It's confirmed. Everything's there, right? And now I can just hit schedule, and I go to the schedule page, and this is the schedule. This is also going to get cleaned up, but let's just say I want to schedule out this post. I think this post is kind of dope. So I'm going to hit select, and I'm going to hit select, and I can schedule out whatever date and time I want, or I can just select all of them, right? Select all 3 of those, and let's make sure metal roof repair, storm damage, roof restoration. Okay. Free roof inspections. Okay. They're not the same. So now what I can do is I can say, okay, I want the standard Monday, Wednesday, Friday schedule. Okay. So this is back to that like time saving thing. Boom. And look what it just did. So it's going to publish on, oh, whoops. Hold on one second. That should be the 25th. Oh, that's tomorrow. That's weird. I don't know why this one's scheduled on. Oh, this one's scheduled on Monday because it's this week. That's interesting. So I'll have to make a note of that. See, like these little bugs, it just doesn't add up. So I'm just going to change that to, that's going to be next Monday. Then we're going to have tomorrow, the 25th, and then we're going to have the 27th. So we're going to have the 25th, 27th, and 30th for the posts. And on the 27th, that's Friday, and I have a little thing in here where it schedules the post before I actually run the report because I'm tracking I'm tracking his rankings, right? So that's dope. So now, okay, the schedule is generated, and we can generate that preview. Cool. See, it's kind of weird. So we're going to save the schedule, and once the schedule is saved, now I can just export them to HighLevel, and it's going to say, hey, are you sure you want to export these to HighLevel? And then what we do is we're going to go over to HighLevel, and we're going to refresh this page. We're going to close that. We're going to open the calendar, and you can see right here. Oh man, it's missing something right here already. Yeah, so I have an issue in here right now where one of them, it's like a regenerated post, and for some reason, when I regenerate the post, it's not coming over in, it's not allowing me to fully select it for some reason. So it'll like select the actual, let me see, if I go into edit draft, this is what I don't want to happen, right? Because the whole point of this is to schedule it out. And actually, I already scheduled that out. Hold on one sec. That one is the roof one I already scheduled out. I already did both of these. Maybe that's why it came over as that. Let me edit this. Yeah, so it's missing media. So it saved it as draft because it can't publish to Google as a draft. It has to publish as a post. And if there's no media, then it can't publish. So I basically, that's my error. That's like my buffer from posting crap on a client's profile. That's like, you can't be posting crap on a customer's profile like that. So anyways, you can see that it's missing something. I have a bug in here where if it's a regen, you know how we hit that little regeneration button. So if we go back to campaigns here, if I hit that little regeneration button, for some reason, sometimes it just doesn't send it over. So I got to talk to Claude and figure out why that's happening and whatnot. So pain in the ass. But anyways, super dope that it gets over to HighLevel and schedules it out. You can see that I have done it a few different times here. And then for different customers, I have a full calendar, like, all scheduled out. It's pretty wild, honestly. So now, and you can see if we go in here and edit it, all of the stuff is in here. So you've got the headline, you've got the sub headline, and then you've got a paragraph broken into 2 different things. And this is what it's going to look like in the post. And then it links back to the actual website, and it has the call to action, the learn more button, and it has the website URL in the learn more button, right? And then over time, that will increase the rankings on Google Maps for this particular customer, and they're going to get more phone calls, and they're going to get more leads. They're going to be happy, and that's really all I can ask for. Right? I just want more happy customers, and I also want to spend less time doing the boring stuff and more time on the hard things and problem solving and coming up with new keyword ideas for the SEO and coming up with new ad campaigns and all that sort of stuff. Like, this stuff is a bit monotonous with the copy and paste, copy and paste, copy and paste. So anytime I can do a copy and paste, I want to put it into a software and do a couple clicks and have it kind of work its magic. You know what I mean? So with that being said, I'm going to show you now, I guess is a good time to do this. I'm going to show you how this works. So this right here, you can see these are, I got a ton of files here. I don't know if I can show you all of these. I don't know what I'm actually showing. But anyways, got a ton of files here, okay? And then you basically activate Claude inside this. I got to move this 1 second. You can activate Claude inside VS Code. So there's a software called Visual Studio Code, okay? And then you have Claude Max Plan. I'm paying $100 a month for the Max Plan, and it is absolutely amazing. absolutely amazing. So yesterday we debugged this. So you can see right here, we committed to a branch. It was committed successfully. We had to change the palettes. So that whole loading the palette thing with the pop-up and making sure it saved the palettes and the colors and all that, we had to basically do that. And then I also fixed something where where the generation was happening with the actual post. I found myself, instead of just hitting the regenerate button, I was going back to the post settings and just generating, 5 more posts or something and choosing the number. And, but the problem was it was kind of generating something almost too similar to a post that it already had generated. So what I did was I added some functionality in there where it looks at all the posts in the campaign and then it will not generate a post that has already been created or that is even closely related. It'll just kind of make sure it's 100% unique across the board there for everything, with the image prompt, the headline, the subheadline, and the body of the text. So that's what we were working on yesterday. And you can see that I was working on 1, 2, 3, 4 different files here for a chunk of time. They haven't fully been committed. I've got some changes I got to do here, but so I'm just going to give you a quick demo, right? So yeah, what I'll do, okay, is let me just show you here. 1 second. Let me just see here how I did this. So there's an application here where I just do this. 1 second. I'm just going to talk to the computer real quick. Okay, so have we committed and pushed these files? Is this branch ready to be switched to a different branch? If I remember correctly, yesterday we completed this, right? And then I just hit enter, and it's going to tell me whether or not it thinks that this branch has been completed. Yes, all changes have been committed and pushed to GitHub. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to, okay, your branch is set up. Okay, great. Yesterday's work is complete. Great. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, please pull the new main file from GitHub and make that the working file that we're going to be working on. And then we're going to go create a new branch. So it's going to fetch the branch names and switch to main branch. Amazing. Pull latest branch from GitHub. So now it's going to pull in the latest functionality from GitHub, right? Because we just pushed all those fixes to GitHub. If this is a little confusing, it's basically saving it in the cloud, right? And then I'm pulling that back down to the computer. This was the hardest part for me to understand because I'm not a coder. I do not code. Like I've built websites for years, but I do not code. I don't know anything. Okay. But I've learned a lot in the last 3 months trying to put this thing together. Okay. So on my main branch, it's up to date. Okay. Fantastic. So now what we're going to do is we are just going to hit clear. And now I'm going to say, I'm going to tell it to create a new branch, and that new branch, I'm just going to show you a small, quick example of something we want to fix, right? So, for instance, let's just say that the location settings, I'm going to name the branch location settings, and I'm just going to remove these location settings and put them on the geocode page without duplicating anything. We're just going to say remove them and put them on the geocode page, but don't duplicate it because there's already something on the geocode page. Okay, so that's what we're going to tell it right now. And I'm just going to do this. And so you can see it's clear. Did I do clear already? Yeah, clear. Okay, so now I'm going to say create a new branch, and we'll call it geocode page only. Okay, it's just doing geocode page. I'm going to escape that and I'll do, sorry, call it geo_code_page_only. There we go. Usually I would just type this out, but I'm showing you that you can just talk to your computer and it pretty much does anything you want, which is absolutely mind-blowing. And then it switched to a new branch. So basically we're using the file, the main file, the working file, the one that's working for the most part, except for not being able to publish things to HighLevel. Okay, so geocode page only. Obviously that would be a bug, right? So I have a list of bugs that I'm going through. Geocode page only. Okay, so let me do this. So okay, so right now on the campaign generation settings or the post generation settings, there is a little drop down section talking about location settings. I don't think we need the location settings inside the post generation settings section. I think the location settings should only be on the geocode page. So I need you to look at whether or not we have any geocoding going on or any coordinates being added to the posts or images before the geocode page. Because if we are doing that, then Google's charging us too much because it's tagging the images with coordinates way too many times. We should really only have the coordinates with the randomize enabled button and the radius on the geocode page. And then on that geocode page, we'll organize that later on. But let's just make sure it's removed from the post generation settings and it's only on the geocode page. Ask me some questions before coding anything new. Okay, so, and then I hold Shift and Tab and I put it into plan mode and then I hit enter. And then you can see that I've basically just talked to the computer, told it exactly what we're doing, right? And now it's going to dive through the code and it's going to try to figure out what's going on, right? It says, since I'm in plan mode, I need to research first and present a plan, right? And then it's just going to start planning on my behalf, okay? Which is just so crazy to me. And then it'll just start fixing some of the things. It's going to say, hey, I see that this is happening. The functionality might be over here. I can see that it is getting tagged before it's on that page, which is duplicating the cost and, you know, these sort of things. So the more you're like involved with your own software, you're going to know exactly what's broken, what's not working, you know, how to save money, how not to save money, you know, like where are you okay with spending a little bit more, you know, and if you plan on selling this one day, who knows, right? Okay, so it says I want to proceed. Search for randomized geocode JavaScript functionality. Yep. Now this could take 40 minutes for me to get what I want. I have no idea how long this is going to take. So if it takes too long, I'll cut the video and I'll just show you like the fix, but maybe not. Maybe it'll take a couple minutes. I think it's good. And I think it's good for you to see how long it actually takes too. Cause as you can see, this has already taken 2 minutes. Like you're not building a fully fledged SaaS company today. It's not going to happen, you know? And this is hands down probably the best coding agent on the market right now, like hands down. And this is currently using Claude for Sonnet. I changed the model. See, it's investigating. It's saying, oh, it's on the campaigns tab, blah, blah, blah. And eventually I have to set this up, but I'm working on trying to figure out a way where this thing can memorize a lot better. That's the number one downfall right now. Its memory is garbage. So I'm working on having it update documents and going and referencing those documents, or like once we come up with this plan here, you can see right here, it came up with a plan, right? So it says, based on my code research, I found the location setting in the post generation UI are located in these different things here: the location settings, service area dropdown, randomized checkbox, radius. So it's in the main location. in the components. Yes, that sounds like it's correct. JavaScript control, blah, blah, blah. Function handles checkbox radius. The issue found. Function looks for radius group element, but HTML uses geocode radius. Input directly. Template management handles loading, saving locations in the template. The randomized checkbox and radius controls are currently in a 3-column layout with the location. There's a mismatch between the JavaScript selector. Okay. That's great. You actually found a few bugs that I was going to tell you about, and I just didn't tell you yet. So that's fantastic. Now, how will we go about removing it from the post generation settings and the unified form and putting that on the geocode page itself? It's already on the geocode page, but I want to make sure that it works on the geocode page and we remove it from the unified form. See how long it takes? It's like, oh, but it's $100 a month and it's building exactly what I need, you know? I'm gonna have some water. Here are some tips. Tip number 1 is try to break down your project into small bite-sized chunks. Like right now, this might be 2 or 3 steps and I should only give it 1 step, right? But in my head, it was like just one thing, like, hey, do this. But in its head, it might be like 10 things, and I don't know because I don't code, right? So what I'm trying to do right now is figure out with Claude what the best approach is, and it's going to tell me right here, like, hey, we have these things to do. So the search was revealed that no geocoding, coordinate processing, or location handling occurs during the generate post function. Here are our key findings. See, that's great because I thought it was doubling up the costs, which is great, and it told me that it's not. So maybe I've already mentioned this before about doubling up the costs, and maybe it removed it, but I just feel like I remember thinking about it, but maybe not saying it. So the current state, geocoding settings are collected from the form. Great. Settings are saved to campaign. Yes. And last use settings. Great. They apply geocoding to the post function, and it's imported. They commented out. Okay. No Google Maps API calls, coordinate randomization, or location processing happens during generation. Okay, so that's fantastic. What this means, elements collect data, but don't affect post-generation, poster generated without any. Okay. Since you asked me to search and report on geocoding during post-generation and the answer is definitively non-occurs, no code changes or fixes are needed, the current behavior appears to be intentional. The geocode infrastructure. Okay, so that's good. But now I have to see how it's only like doing one thing, right? It's like really focused on finding that out, right? So now I just have to be like, okay, now listen to what I'm saying, right? Because it's not fully listening to me, right? Okay, that's fantastic news. Thank you so much for figuring that out. Now, for our next part of this, how do we plan on removing the geocode functionality there from the generate post options in the unified form? And how do we keep it on the geocode page? Let's talk about that now that we know that we're not double charging ourselves from Google's API. And I love how it says celebrating. Now let me investigate the current state to understand exactly what needs to be removed. And okay, so it needed to figure out whether or not it was being used first, but it didn't want to continue that conversation. Sometimes it'll actually want to continue the conversation. It's like, hey, what's next, boss? You know what I mean? But sometimes it's just like, hey, the job's done. And it's like, no, we're working on something here. The job's not done, you know? And I just sit down here talking to my computer all night long, literally all night long, building this stuff out. Sometimes I'll type to it if I just don't feel like talking anymore. But I feel like I can get my side of the story out and my vision out a lot quicker and a lot more accurately by talking to the computer versus typing it all out. But sometimes typing it out makes me think about the exact, movement of a click or what should happen with a button and everything. So different times I'll talk to it, different times I'll type to it, because if I'm problem solving as well, then it helps me to write it out. I'd like to be able to show you in this one video how this works. So basically you just start going through the code base being like, hey, you're not being double charged, right? The functionality is only happening on the geocode page. And then I'm coming back to it being like, oh, great. Well, then let's remove it where it's not supposed to be, right? So remove entire location section. Okay, here we go. So this is the plan. Yeah, see, look, I wanted one thing and it's got 5 things here, right? So I found the JavaScript code that handles the location settings across blah, 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 files. Yes, the lines, great. Handles randomized checking. Okay, template management. These are the lines. This is the integration. This is the form structure. Okay. The removal plan. That's what I need to know. So the removal plan, function from campaigns. Okay. Remove the function call, blah, 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 blah. Remove location settings from reset, populate. Okay. Yes. Save Idegram template. Okay. Remove entire location settings from the unified form. Test the unified form to ensure form still submits correctly without location fields. Template saving loads. Okay. All right. So now this all sounds good, but I just want to double check that it's not removing it from the geocode page itself and that functionality is still going to work. Okay. Okay. So far, this sounds really good. I just want to make sure that whatever we're removing right now in this current plan that you just presented to me does not remove any of the functionality that's currently working on the geocode page. So just confirm with me and write out exactly how it does not break that functionality on the geocode page, please. And sometimes when you talk to the computer, okay, it's going to put parentheses around different things, and sometimes that can actually get confusing. So it says, you're absolutely right to ask for confirmation. Let me research the geocode page functionality to ensure the plan won't break anything there. Great. Now I have a clear understanding of how the geocode functionality works. Let me present the comprehensive plan that ensures we won't break the geocode page functionality. Boom. Now this is key because sometimes it can go off and start breaking shit. And next thing you know, you're like, wait, that was working like 2 hours ago. What did we do in the last 2 hours that did this? So what we're removing, okay, location settings, yes, JavaScript remove, cool, form processing, what stays intact, the geocode page, functionality remains 100% unaffected because geocode page was using geocode routes, has its own dedicated template, great, perfect setup from the beginning, uses separate JavaScript, independent functionality, service area management, coordinate process, blah, blah, blah. Okay, great. Location settings, save via campaign, blah, blah. Sorry, I have to actually read this because this is affecting my software, so give me 1 second. No campaign generation settings, post generation, or location settings. Okay. Separate JavaScript geocode page has its own geocode page. Great. Files to modify, review, unified form. Okay, wonderful. So I'm going to say, I'm going to escape out of this. And I'm going to say, okay, perfect. This sounds fantastic. Thank you for confirming that with me. Please create a new .md file, and that will act as our plan moving forward. In case I have to start a new session with you, we can always reference that plan. So basically give yourself notes for your future self in case you have to use this document and we can't complete it during this session. See, these are little tips. Okay, so now you see how it just switched to auto confirm all requests there. I had to switch that off. I don't know if you saw that or not, but I had to switch that off. So right now, location setting removal plan.md, it's creating a new file for me. Okay, so it will somewhere over here, once it does this, it'll create. So right now it's in code mode. It'll start creating a new file up here. So that's the most recent settings. We did this yesterday. We did all this yesterday. This was yesterday's work. So we're going to close this. Right now it's thinking a little too long here. Oh, here we go. It wasn't thinking, it was writing. Sorry. Okay. So you can see that it just wrote out 178 lines of text. And this is the plan. It's going to say, hey, these are, this is what we have to remove. This is how it's working, and so on and so forth. We want to make sure that it's being removed. Find and remove. Okay. Safety confirmations. Okay, cool. So I'm going to trust that it did that. I would actually read that whole thing if I wasn't doing this live with you. Don't copy me. Don't just do as I tell you. Like, read that before you implement it. Okay. So that's cool. It just created that new file. And now it's going to ask me, do you want to continue with the plan of that new file? And I'm going to say yes. And you can see over here that it has now created a location settings removal plan. And that one is not pushed yet. So this plan ensures perfect. I've created it, blah, blah, blah. Great. All research and planning is preserved and ready for implementation. Okay, so fantastic. Thank you. Please complete this plan. Sometimes I say, could you start this plan, and it'll do like 2 or 3 things. So I have to be very careful with how I'm doing this. So there we go. Boom. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different tasks. And in my head, I'm just like, delete that and put it on the other page, right? That's 2 tasks. But that's not actually how this works. So now that you're looking at it in real code mode happening right here, and I'm going to have to approve every one of the edits because I have it set up that way where I'm approving the edit. Okay. So you can see that all of this code on the left-hand side was written. Okay. And on the right-hand side, it's deleted now. So that is telling me that the collapsible section called location settings section is getting deleted, right? So that looks good to me. So I'm going to say yes, continue that. And it's going to keep working on its magic here. Sorry, I don't know if you can hear the dogs barking up there. I got to pause this and go get the dogs out of the room upstairs. 1 second. Okay, sorry, just had to pause that. Okay, so the next edit, it's saying that it's deleting that. So we're just going to say, okay, great. Okay, cool. So that's removed it in 3 sections right now, which all seemed correct. And I can only kind of guess that it's correct based off of what I'm asking it, and I'm reading some of the names of the files and stuff. And, like, I don't know how to code, but the more I do this, the more I can quick look at it and be like, okay, that does look like it's the right thing that it's supposed to be removing. Sometimes it'll be like, I'm removing this. I'm like, whoa, what are you doing? That we didn't talk about removing that. And if you can read the files slightly, like even just at a quick glance, you can prevent a whole ton of bugs being created, or even just like it creating a new software. You know what I mean? So, okay, I can see this is the reset to defaults function. There's all settings. Since we're removing this location setting, I need to remove those references. Okay, that makes sense. Yes, get rid of that. It'll tell you why it's doing it too, so that looks correct. We had the radius there. Cool. What's it saying now? Oh, it's removing more of that. Okay. This is a massive file. I didn't know what I was doing when I first started this, so that file's huge. Hopefully one day I'll just get somebody to come in and refactor it because it's big, or I can just have another model refactor it at a certain point. Now, it does look like it's just removing it from the template, which is interesting because, oh yeah, it shouldn't be a template. It should just be pulled in from the client settings. So that's interesting. We shall see if it actually broke it or if it remains intact. Let's see. like I said, this could take 40 minutes to do this. Location row. Okay. We're deleting that. Cool. And right here, it says it's about to auto compact. I have 39% left. So that's why I had it give me a plan that we can stick to. So we're going to test the post-generation functionality here. Yeah, sure. The software is already running, but let's just see if it actually does it. 1 second. Okay, now because it says it's already doing it, I'm actually going to go over here. I'm going to hard refresh this page, and I can confirm that the location settings are now gone, and then these settings are still here, which is great. So the campaign settings seem to be good. This is nice and tight now. This is clean. Oh, so much better with less options there. Okay, still has the controls. And you can see that it's double checking its work right now too. So the page is still there. It has its controls. Let me also verify that the JavaScript files don't have errors. So that's what it's going to do. Okay. Check template management. And it's going to say it's complete. So that's going to say, so now it's updating the plan. It's going to say ready for implementation, and it's changing the status to completed successfully, right? So we're going to hit that. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go over here and I'm going to test the geocode thing real quick. I just want to save the settings. I want to write the latitude and longitude, which I don't think I should not do that. So I'm going to confirm this, and it should pull in the latitude and longitude of that exact address, which it does, which is great. So the functionality is still there. And then I can download let me just do it for sure. Let me just double check. So download this, and we're going to get info. And is it still there? Yes, latitude and longitude is still there. So you can see, and that's all I do. I just edit it constantly, keep making these things like the next big thing. Actually, and then let me just finalize this, because this is a big deal. So I want to save this file. Yes, the task list is completed. Great. And then what I want to do is we pulled the file from GitHub all the way down to VS Code, right? We basically copied it and created a new branch saying geocode page only, right? Now we have an improved version of the application where some of these files were edited, right? And now what I need to do is I need it to commit those changes, basically save those changes and send it back to the main file, okay? So that's what I'm going to do. So it's searching through Claude MD. Let me find the bug fixes selection to add our completion. Okay, so yeah, it's now looking for Claude.md file, and it's reading through it, and it's going to update the Claude.md file, which is the one that Anthropic recommends you use for memory. So it's basically updating this in memory too, saying, hey, we did this. And these are the fixes, you know. Okay. Yes, it's completed location settings, blah, blah, blah. Yes, removed. Yes. Okay, cool. And you can switch on auto edit approval, like auto edit approval, and you can switch that on. So you don't have to hit enter all the time and do that, but you got to be very careful, because sometimes it'll just start spitting stuff out. And if you don't know how to code, you're going to be in trouble, you know, like with me. So the task is now complete with all necessary, okay, preventing unnecessary Google Maps API charges, blah, blah, blah. Fantastic. Okay. Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much for getting that done. Could you now please commit and push these to GitHub, and we'll finalize this branch. what did it say? We have, I see, let me commit these changes to task. I see the core files we modified for location plus some client data files that were modified during testing. Let me add only the files related to location removal. Yeah, great. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I am going to open a new tab here, and I'm going to log into my GitHub real quick, and then I'm going to show you how you can get these changes. So it's now pushing the branch. It says, okay, the branch is now ready for a pull request. So now this gets geeky. I still don't fully understand this, but it's ready for a pull request. So you can see right here, this is my main one. This is the main branch, right? And then we have another branch that we were just working on, which is geocode page only, right? And I can go in here and look at pull requests, and it created a pull request. And it's telling me exactly what we edited. So it said we removed the location setting from the unified, blah, blah, blah. Clean up the templates, yes. Updated the Claude, great. And then it says generated with Claude, boom. And then I can create this pull request. I hit that, and then it's going to check for conflicts. And then I can do that and then merge that. Okay, boom. And then once that's merged, I can then delete that branch. And then I go back to Visual Studio Code and I say, okay, that has been merged. Now please pull the most recent main file. I think technically it's on the computer already, but it's switching to the main branch, and it's pulling the main branch from GitHub now. I'm going to ask it actually, just out of curiosity. Do I have to, 1 second, pull this successful? I can see all the, okay, your branch is now up to date. Okay. Just out of curiosity, do I always have to tell you to pull the main branch that is merged back down to the terminal, or is it sort of stored in the terminal already? What does it say? Best practice. Great question. You do need to tell me to pull the changes down. Literally, I just started doing this like today. So that's so crazy. I've been doing this all wrong all along. Git branches are local until pulled. Okay. Man, that has been a huge source of my problems. I'll be honest. Cause I'll just forget that we committed something or whatever. So interesting. If I don't pull the latest changes. Okay, so what are these changes? Oh, these are all post profile dark. Okay, gotcha. Okay. If I don't pull the latest changes, I'd be working with outdated code. I might try to implement features that already exist. Dude, that is so crazy. So you just learned that lesson with me right now. It's so obvious that I have to push it and then pull it back down. Like I have to push it, merge it, pull it back down. Because otherwise it's working with old code, which makes all the sense in the world why I've been having so many problems, and so much frustration, because I'm like, did we not already work on this? Like, what the hell's going on? And then I'll like fix it, and maybe it's just using outdated code, you know? That's so crazy. So anyways, I hope you learned something. I know this is a very long video, but I hope you learned something in this video. If you're interested in learning more, hanging out, every week I have live calls. We can chat about this. We can chat about agency stuff with HighLevel and stuff. And eventually, if you want access to GeoSauce, then you're going to have to be a HighLevel affiliate. You can sign up using the link below, get into my community, be a HighLevel affiliate as well. And then you'll get access to this dope tool. And I'm just building this out over and over and over again every chance I get. Really just trying to like make it as smooth and as fast as possible, to the point where like you should be able to click a couple buttons, get your clients the post they need, help them rank in Google, schedule out pages to their website, schedule out blog posts, schedule out the images for their blog posts, like literally everything. Anything local SEO related, I want it to be in this software. So if you are already a HighLevel user and you would like this, you could still hit me up, but I don't know if I'm going to be offering that. It's got to be like this is for the people that are using my link and, are loyal fans of mine to the channel and my community and stuff. And this is for doers, you know what I mean? So if you want to join Daniel University, click the link below and I'll see you inside. And we have live calls for coaching and stuff every week. So I can't wait to see you in there. Thank you so much for tuning into the channel. Love you guys. Have a fantastic day.